set it up. And welcome everybody to Atherton, California, where we have an unbelievable matchup today between the visiting St. Ignatius Wildcats and the home Sacred Heart Prep Gators. I'm Michael Sachs, along with former University of Denver star Greg Weigel. We're pleased that you're joining us here today between two of the best high school lacrosse teams on the entire West Coast, Greg.
Absolutely, Coach Sachs. What an event. What a beautiful day here in Atherton. I would say maybe the West Coast, maybe the Western United States, west of the Mississippi.
Okay.
You know, you throw some schools from Texas, Colorado, some of the other states that are really starting to blossom in terms of lacrosse, even those schools in the mix. You know, St. Ignatius went down and beat Torrey Pines out of Southern California, 8-6 or 10-8, something like that, a 2-goal game earlier in the year. And that is, sort of the other school that's considered the best out here in the West. And so in my estimation, these are definitely the two best teams in Northern California, most likely the two best teams in California, and probably the two best teams in the Western United States. So pretty exciting.
Big-time matchup today. The final regular season game for each. The winner will be the number one seed in the playoffs that start next week. Here's the face-off between Joey Dahlkemper of the Gators and Lance Sell of the visiting Wildcats from San Francisco.
And this matchup's going to be a key to this game all day long, Coach Sachs.
Here we have a fight for the initial ground ball. Looks like SI's can scoop. And SI does get the first possession of the game. So here come the visiting red Wildcats, red jerseys, white helmets, and white shorts, defended by the all-white uniformed home Gators of SHP. What are some matchups to watch here, Greg?
I think one important matchup to watch early on is going to be long stick midfielder Cap Williams, number 24 for Sacred Heart Prep. I think he's going to be matched up with number 4 Sam Parkinson. That is an incredible matchup. Cav Williams, in my estimation, he's a Division I player. He can't be recruited yet.
10th grader.
Yeah, he's only a 10th grader. Sam Parkinson, definitely a Division I player. He'll be at Villanova next year. And here it is. You see this matchup right away. SI really initiates a lot of their offense from Parkinson. If he can be neutralized without drawing a slide, that's a huge benefit to Sacred Heart Prep. The other big matchup, I think, is the short stick defensive midfielders for Sacred Heart Prep against whoever they're matched up with.
Here you see number 3 Wells Bly with the ball in his stick, looking to create.
Nice play by John Carter, keeping a stick in his gloves through the pass.
Back up top to number 7 Mark Stevens, another one of the Wildcats' top offensive players.
Yeah, Stevens is a prototypical two-way midfielder. He's big, he's strong, he's fast, he's super athletic. He'll be taking his talents to Harvard next year. You know, this St. Ignatius team is loaded with college players.
Ground ball created there by the Gators, and it's scooped, and the Gators are on the run.
What a play by Wilson Weisel. He's going to draw a flag. What an incredible turn of events here. You get a short stick D-mini isolated behind. Any defensive coach is going to be scared in that situation. Not only does he not get a slide, he creates a turnover, picks it up, clears it halfway himself, and now the Gators are going to go man up on their first possession of the game.
Huge turn of events there. I don't think the Wildcats even got a shot off there.
They didn't. No, what a stand to open the game by Sacred Heart Prep.
Yeah, anchored by the senior, 4-year starter Cody Weeb in net for the Gators. He'll be heading to Tufts University in Boston next season, but he didn't even have to make a play on that possession. So now we see the Gators, the senior captain Tommy Barnes, number 7, with the ball in his stick.
And look here, they're shutting Tommy right away.
Face guarding him.
Yeah, that's right. So they're going to have to say, you know what, we're so concerned with Tommy, we're going to let you guys play 5-on-4 instead of 6-on-5.
So Joey Celentano Jr. gets the assignment on Barnes, and I've never seen this before, Greg. He's just completely taken him out of the play.
Yeah, this is not that uncommon. I'm a little bit surprised, to be honest with you. And I think it's potentially a big gamble here. Sacred Heart Prep looks a little discombobulated. You know, most teams will play out of some sort of 1-3-1.
There's our first shot of the game by the freshman Max Sloat, sails wide. Gators maintain the possession.
You know, between Weisel, Hart, the younger Billy Barnes, and Max Sloat, you've got a bunch of shooters out there. If they can figure that out, it was effective in the first possession. Sacred Heart Prep looked a little confused. One of the things
Man-up's over, by the way.
That's right. We're back to even strength. I think Coach Rotelli does a really nice job of making in-game adjustments.
Oh, there's a shot by Joey Sonsini.
Yeah, Sonsini, beautiful shot. And he had the goalie beat on that. You can see the goalie was late to the ball. He just missed it by an inch or two.
Here's Sloat, pick set by Tommy Barnes. Sloat still with the ball in his stick, guarded closely by the long pole.
That's Connor Flaherty, number 41. He'll be playing with Cody Weeb next year at Tufts. There's actually 2 long poles for the St. Ignatius Wildcats who will be at Tufts next year with Cody. That's number 42, Kyle Edelman, and 41, Connor Flaherty.
Here's the younger Barnes brother, Billy Barnes, number 6.
Oh, beautiful
swings it over
pass
to Larry Hart. A shot sails wide, backed up by Tommy Barnes. So we've seen 3 shots here by the Gators early, Greg. Nothing has landed, but here's the senior, the star, Tommy Barnes in the X spot, looking to create.
I think if you're Coach Vitale, you're pretty happy with the early offense here. You're getting good looks.
Billy Barnes finds the back of the net and gives the Gators a 1-0 lead.
The thing about lacrosse, Coach, with Mike Sachs, is if you're taking good shots and they miss by an inch or two, like Sonsini's did, like Larry Hart's did, now all of a sudden here you'll see Tommy Barnes just posts up, gets a little too much attention, sees through the defense, and Billy is left open. Beautiful shot, low to high, right into the corner.
So here we are back at the X. Joey Dahlkemper, the senior, opposed by Lance Sell,
Anyway,
the senior.
What I was saying is a missed shot a lot of times in lacrosse is better than a save. Right? If you give a bad shot, goalie makes an easy save, that's a free possession, fast break going the other way. You miss a shot, you end up with possession, you're playing offense again.
So the Wildcats win the second faceoff. They've won both of them so far, although now the ball's loose. Do they get a full possession on that?
Well, I mean, they get possession, within the book, but what I would tell you is that you don't have possession. You have not won the faceoff until you have the ball possessed by a short stick in your offensive box.
Well, one thing's for sure, the Gators possess it now.
That's right. And so now you have the chief possession. You have a short stick. It's touched into the box. You can say you have possession now. I'm going to throw it to Billy Barnes here. That's it.
Oh, it's high.
But that's a big mistake on both teams' part. It's a big mistake by Sell trying to get off the field, being so desperate and not being willing to play defense. He gave them a 6-on-5. If they had been able to execute that pass, that's trouble for SI.
Here's Sonsini. Over to Hart. Behind the cage.
It's number 3, Patrick Haggerty.
Pat Haggerty, another senior celebrating Senior Day today here in Atherton. Back up to Sonsini, over to Billy Barnes.
I think Sonsini needs to dodge on Sell. Not necessarily because Sell's a bad defender, but because he's their primary faceoff guy.
Right.
If you can make him play defense while Joey Dahlkemper sits on the bench and rests, if you score or they score, either way, you have a big advantage on the next faceoff.
Makes perfect sense. Here's Sloat.
Early double from SI. That's very
Tommy,
difficult.
Save there. Nice save by Mario Hemmen. A shot wide and high, backed up by the Gators.
I like Billy Barnes' aggressiveness early on. And when he's playing with a little bit of swagger, he is really tough to stop.
And there's another shot by Barnes. We have a whistle.
It's like an interference.
A procedure call against SI, and SHP is going to keep it. Just under 7 minutes left to play here, Greg, in the opening quarter. Gators have a 1-0 lead and the ball.
Very smart. Now you got a pull on Billy Barnes.
Here's Sonsini. Defender wanted him to go left. Hart. Back up top to Billy Barnes. Wildcats extending their defense out.
That's very typical of a St. Ignatius defense under Coach Chris Packard. They're aggressive, they go out and they play the ball hard, and they're ready to slide early, and they slide with a lot of physicality. I think that's one storyline to keep an eye on in this game. Now, it's a little bit of a ticky-tack first penalty. Not that it wasn't a penalty, it just wasn't very physical.
Right.
Kind of tripped him.
There's a beautiful save by Hemmen.
That being said, St. Ignatius, I think, has traditionally taken a lot of penalties and exposed themselves to some man-down opportunities. And if Sacred Heart Prep can capitalize on that, that's a big difference.
So here come the Wildcats after a nice save by Hemmen. Wildcats trail 1-0 here.
It's been a long time since SI's had the ball down here.
And they still don't have a single shot on net. Substitution there for Coach Packard. A shot high and wide, but backed up by the visiting Wildcats. Again, the Wildcats in red, the Gators in their home white. It's senior day here in Atherton.
And that was senior Topher Bly. He'll be playing at Brown University next year.
College talent all over the field.
It's absolutely incredible. There's probably 20 college players on the field right now between the two rosters.
Unreal. Here's Mark Stevens.
Interesting that they're covering Stevens with a short stick. Beck Anderson is a converted defenseman, though, and you've seen he did a nice job there on Stevens. Very disciplined.
Parkinson slips but keeps it. Double team. He passes out of it over to Stevens again.
You don't see this very often. They are triple polling the midfield, Mike Sachs.
What does that mean, Greg?
Well, normally when you set up on a lacrosse field, you have 3 long stick defensemen who are covering the other team's attackmen. There are 2 short stick defenders in the midfield and 1 long stick midfielder.
Got it.
Sacred Heart Prep had, that's a tough call. That's a quick 4 seconds. That's a really quick 4 seconds on Cody.
So the Gators goalie, Cody Weeb, called for the 4 seconds, and it turns it right back over to the Wildcats, who, while you were explaining it, turned it over.
Right. So what I was saying is, there were 3 long sticks covering midfielders in that scenario.
Got it.
Bly, Stevens, and Parkinson all had a long stick on them. You don't see that very often. Now, I know La Costa Canyon had experimented some with that earlier this year against St. Ignatius. I believe they were pretty successful with it. They lost 9-8, I believe. Like I said, St. Ignatius is a prohibitively good team. And now you're seeing a little bit of zone from Sacred Heart.
Yep. Coach Chris Rotelli slips into his zone, and his defensive coordinator, Sean Mayle, over there on the far sideline. And there we see deflection, but right into the Wildcat stick.
You like seeing that if you're a defensive coach, though. Active stick, sticks up in the lanes. If you can prevent those sort of skip lanes, it's tough to score on a zone. That's good looking zone.
And there's a shot and a save by Weeb, and the Gators come up with it. Can they clear?
Easily. Look ahead. You got one more, and now you're out in transition. Here's Cav Williams. He's dangerous to shoot. He takes it.
Nice beautiful save by Hemmen. Hemmen's been great so far.
Not the strong. That's a great ride by Wilson Weisel. That's 2 great defensive plays that he's made so far to create possessions for Sacred Heart Prep. Cav Williams has got to put that shot on the ground. Plain and simple. Long pole coming down in transition. That's got to be a bounce shot. Make the goalie make a save. Instead, he threw it into his stick. Cav's better than that.
We've seen him score in that exact spot before.
Listen, if you're Coach Rotelli, in no way are you upset about that play. You're just upset about the shot placement. You want Cav Williams. He's got the green light to shoot the ball at 14 or 15 yards in transition. No doubt.
So here come the Gators in their set half-court offense, half-field offense, I should say. Watching too much NBA playoffs. Larry Hart over to Haggerty. Behind the cage to Sloat. Back to Tommy Barnes now. Barnes sitting on 199 career goals, Greg.
Quick double on Barnes.
Weisel. Billy Barnes. Hart. Shoots high.
I think that's an impatient shot. Larry's a good shooter, but a 16-yard shot.
Haggerty to Hart. 2 minutes coming up here remaining in the first quarter. Gators up 1-0 on a beautiful afternoon here in Atherton, California on the campus of Sacred Heart Prep Schools. Billy Barnes.
He's in.
A little dump down shot. Sails high. Who won the race?
Patrick did.
Pat Haggerty wins the race.
I think Billy's got an extra step there. He takes one more, slips it back into his left hand. I think he scores there. They shot it just a touch prematurely. But that's what that early slide does to you, right? You get used to getting a guy to your hands really quickly. Maybe get it off a step too soon.
Here's Hart going left. Shoot, saved by Hemmen. Gators still have it. Hart up top to Billy Barnes. Physical check.
And they're letting him play a little bit here today, Coach. I like
that. Well, this is what everybody wanted to see.
Right.
We've been waiting for this matchup all season. This is for the regular season championship and the home field advantage in next week's playoffs. Here's Will Weisel. to Larry Hart. Bounces it over to Billy Barnes. Minute remaining in the quarter.
I think Sacred Heart Prep may have just realized that they may be looking to hold for one more here.
As Hart shoots a save by Hemmon. I think he got his stick on that. Tommy Barnes backs it up.
I mean, all seriously, Hemmon's been all over that, right? If you are Coach Chris Packard of St. Ignatius, you're okay with Sacred Heart Prep taking that shot. You'll let them take that shot.
Here's Tommy Barnes.
This is something that maybe keeps you up a little bit more at night. Tommy Barnes
Pick.
On a short stick, that's trouble.
Shot high. Again, Tommy Barnes is the highest scoring midi in Sacred Heart Prep history, the second leading scorer in Gator lacrosse history, sitting on 199 career goals. This is his final home game of the regular season. Here's Billy Barnes. Max Sloat couldn't handle the pass, and the Gators turn it over as the Wildcats have a break here with 14 seconds to play.
Duke Reeder pushing the ball in transition. He's another one like Cav Williams, very capable of scoring in transition. You know, a lot like Sacred Heart Prep defensive coordinator Sean Nail. Duke is a big, strong kid who can shoot the ball really hard with that long stick. And you can't let him get an open look.
Here's a shot at the buzzer. Doesn't hit. And that's going to, well, they stopped the clock at a second remaining. And now they run it off. So that's going to do it for the first quarter. We had a lot of shots. We only saw one hit. At the end of one quarter here in Atherton, California, it's St. Ignatius 0 and Sacred Heart Prep 1. We'll take a break and be right back. Welcome back to Atherton, California, on the campus of Sacred Heart Prep. Michael Sachs alongside Greg Weigel. Beginning of the second quarter here, Greg, between two of the best teams on the western part of the United States. We've got a face-off coming here between Dahlkemper and Sells. Sells 2-0 so far on face-offs, and the Gators lead at 1-0.
Yeah, really a much slower pace of play than I anticipated. It hasn't been super slow, but much lower scoring, I guess, is a better way of saying that.
And it looks like it's going to go 3-0 on face-offs in favor of the visiting Wildcats as they win it and get into their offense. Substitutions for both teams coming. Oh, so we had a point-blank shot there by Joe Celentano Jr. Went wide. Greg, we all of a sudden have a very large crowd on hand. Plenty of fans from both teams on this gorgeous Wednesday afternoon. Temperatures in the low 70s. You can't ask for a better atmosphere for high school lacrosse than this, particularly out here in the Bay Area. The visiting Wildcats in red, the home Gators in white. There's a shot off the post. Wildcats still have it.
It's interesting. I haven't seen St. Ignatius play out of that set before. That's a sort of a 4-high motion offense.
New wrinkle by Coach Packard.
Well, it might be that I haven't seen them play enough this year. Maybe it's something they added this year, but that Syracuse look is a very popular motion look among high school teams. And they got a great look out of it, right? I mean, Stevens had a one-on-one.
Hit the post.
Hit the post. Some people say the post is a win for the goalie. Most of those people are goalies.
44, Peyton St. Jem.
Yeah, Peyton will be playing at Dartmouth next year. He comes from a long line of great athletes. His father, Peter, played football at Stanford. His older brother, Peter, is a sophomore midfielder at University of Delaware. And his younger brother, Pierce, is, in my opinion, one of the best youth lacrosse players in Northern California. He's got the it factor.
Well, you would know. You're a longtime coach all over Northern California. A star yourself at the University of Denver. Wildcat still looking for a great shot here as the ball's on the ground and the Wildcats turn it over as Alex Bean comes up with it, and here's Cav Williams on the break.
Well, I like that. Wilson Weisel's playing really, really well. I'd be interested in seeing that again on replay if we can, but I think it was his early double team off of Wells Bly's inside move that caused this turnover. And that, I believe, is the third caused turnover he's had today as a short stick D-midi. That's awesome.
There you see it.
Missed it. That's okay.
It's okay.
Thanks for trying.
Back to live action. Billy Barnes, little shake and bake. Barnes, guarded by Parkinson. Hart, over to Sonsini. Sonsini with the shot wide, backed up by the Gators.
So Joey Sonsini, most of his life, he's been an attackman. And Coach Rotelli moved him up into the midfield. He thought that's what the team needed. Sonsini did it without complaining. And I'll tell you, I think he looks great as a midfielder. He's got so much natural speed that he's a tough cover up top. And interesting to play basically your whole career at a position and find out maybe you're suited at a better one. Or better suited at a different one.
Here's Larry Hart. Behind a Max Sloat. Up top to Sonsini, who looked to shoot, but pulls it back. Deked the defender. Drew an ooh and an ah from the crowd.
You see the Barnes brothers playing a little two-man game there to try to get Tommy a short stick.
They're really riding Tommy out of the play. Here he is.
Well, Tommy had, last time these two teams played, Tommy had 7 points, 5 goals, 2 assists, earned his team a championship and himself an All-American spot, as well as the WCAL Player of the Year spot. I can't imagine St. Ignatius forgot about that.
Oh, another nice save there by Hemmen on a shot by Sonsini. Still 1-0, Sacred Heart leading St. Ignatius.
Hemmen's looked really good today.
Really good.
You know, he's a first-year starter. He sat for a couple years behind a guy named Matt Gates, who's at Hofstra now, and Hemmen looks ready to play.
Parkinson there wanted a shot, but thought better of it. Both teams get into their set offense and defensive units. The short stick defenseman comes on for the Gators, number 33, Beck Anderson.
Yeah, I think the other guy we should mention right now is a long stick midfielder right now, number 8, William Peterson.
Yep.
William Peterson's a guy who plays close defense. He plays long stick midfield. He plays short stick D-midi. He's really a guy who embraces that junkyard dog role, do anything for the team, and he does a hell of a job of it.
John Carter, number 10 in white, also there with the long pole on D for the Gators. Ground ball. The Gators turn them over, and here they come on a break. Larry Hart with the shot and the score. 2-0 Gators, and the Gators are fired up on the far sideline.
Interesting. You can see what having a guy like Tommy Barnes does to a team. When Tommy's on the point, they are so slow to go off of him that it's giving guys an opportunity to shoot. Cav Williams had an opportunity to shoot. Larry Hart has an opportunity to shoot now. They need to come to him. You know, he's at 10 yards when he takes that shot. He's at 5 when they put him on the ground.
seek and destroy mission by the Gators and Larry Hart.
The two guys who deserve some credit on that play too are William Peterson. He was all over the ball on the wing, and Alex Bean, who anticipated a hurried pass because of the pressure from
Here come the Gators again off the face-off.
Now they're going early, and
here comes a point-blank look. Saved by Hemmon. Stonewall.
Yeah, Haggerty's got to step up field on that.
A great look by the Gators, but it remains 2-0 Gators over the Wildcats as here come the Wildcats. Mark Stevens, number 7, guarded by Will Weisel.
Looks like Sacred Heart may be sitting in the zone again.
It does.
Last time they went into a zone, SI got a pretty good look on the crease. They just weren't able to finish it. Liam McGannon got a feed on the crease, and Cody Weed made a great save.
Wells Bly, number 3, over to number 44, Peyton St. Jim. There's number 7, Mark Stevens. Number 10, Topher Bly. And there's a shot and a save by Weed.
That's really good looking offense. And Sacred Heart Prep missed their rotation over from the backside. That's twice now, I'd say, they've gone to zone.
Oh, we've got 2 flags on the ground, Greg. What happened?
I don't know.
Trying to sort it out.
Maybe we can catch it on the replay. Maybe not. It looked like it may be off.
There were 2 flags thrown simultaneously.
Somebody's locked in.
Trying to sort it out here for you. Yeah, Cav Williams has taken a knee in the penalty box for Sacred Heart Prep. Assistant coach Mo Ryan kneeling down to talk to him. It doesn't appear that any Wildcats are in the box at the moment. It's hard to tell what the call is. I didn't see anything that happened that looked like a penalty.
Well, it was totally behind the play. It was away from the ball, and so I certainly missed it.
Coach Rotelli over there talking to his sophomore star, Cav Williams.
So it was
actually that's Coach Mail talking to him.
Coach on play, each team. Penalty on each team.
One on Sacred Heart, each for unsportsmanlike conduct.
Cav Williams
unsportsmanlike conduct on each team, but Cav is in the penalty box. So it seems like.
Well, who's in the penalty box for SI?
I don't see anyone.
Yes, there is. He's down over there to the left.
Oh, I see. He's kneeling down. You're right. It's Gator ball. And so are they even strength?
Yeah, even strength. It appears both are going to be locked in, so we'll be even strength for, I believe, 1 minute, although it may be 2-minute penalties, but we'll be 5-on-5. And I think they'll both release at the same time, and we'll go 6-on-6 right away.
Okay. Here comes the Gators. Billy Barnes, number 6, with the ball in his stick. Little pick by his older brother, Tommy.
Interesting. It looks like something's going on with Cav in the box. Like he's got a blister or something.
He's receiving some sort of medical attention. As Tommy Barnes uncorks his first shot of the day, and it's saved by Hemmon. And here comes SI up the left sideline.
That's an easy one for Hemmon. SI's defense does a nice job getting a piece of Barnes' stick on the shot. Not able to get the full strength on
Offside on St. Ignatius.
SI's called for an offsides penalty. He'll give it back to the home Gators, who are on the move. Barnes pushes it upfield now to Max Sloat, a freshman and a senior. Billy Barnes comes on for the Gators, and he's got the ball now, guarded by Mark Stevens. Larry Hart, guarded by Celentano.
Sacred Heart's got a small advantage here, 6-on-5. Same sort of situation that happened earlier in the game with Lance Sell looking to sub. That's twice now they've gotten away with a substitution error that led to a 6-on-5 for Sacred Heart.
Will Weisel, number 12. Under 4.5 to play in the first half. The Gators lead at 2-0. They swing it over to Billy Barnes, who shoots wide, backed up by Sacred Heart Prep. So it seems like Cav Williams is now up. as we've got 4:10 to play.
Yeah, I don't know. He's somewhere on the bench and the trainer's away from him, so he must be fine.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. So here's Will Weisel, guarded by Celentano. Behind the net to Tommy Barnes. Barnes looking, probing. Guarded by Carter McCullough.
Early double
swings it to his little brother Billy. Over to
freshman Max Sloat.
Max Sloat, yep.
Slips. Sloat's an incredible talent. Sloat had 6 goals in their last game against Monte Vista.
Missed some time with a variety of injuries, but he's back now. Here he is, a shot, deflected and saved by Hemmen. And here come the Wildcats.
And that's too much. And here you go. You see the speed of
by
Stevens
Mark
here.
Stevens is blazing.
Great
He's
play
knocked
by
to the ground. And we have a
Timeout
whistle.
by SI.
So a timeout by Coach Packard. And we'll take one with him. It's 2-0. Sacred Heart Prep leading St. Ignatius. Welcome back to Sacred Heart Prep in Atherton, California. Michael Sachs alongside Greg Weigel. The Wildcats are visiting SI from San Francisco. Trail 2-0 and have the ball, Greg. Let's see what Coach Packard called out of that timeout.
Yeah, starting out in a 2-3-1. You see the Sacred Heart Prep Gators are back to their original look. Double polling the midfield, but not triple polling it. And short stick Will Peterson covering Mark Stevens. That is I like that as a coaching move. It's also a bold move. Stevens is so talented. To cover him with a short stick really shows what sort of faith Coach Vitelli has in William Peterson.
There's a shot, wide and high. That shot was pulled by...
That's Topher Bly, number 10.
Yep, Topher Bly.
He's covered by Paul Barton. Barton does a great job just keeping his stick.
There you see some blazing speed
smokes
by Parkinson and a goal. And the Wildcats are on the board and trail 2-1.
That's just too much speed.
A lot of speed. Take another look. Just a straight line on the left side.
Alex Bean's got to do a better job of digging down off the adjacent guy, too, though. He kind of waves at him with his stick. He needs to come with his body and meet him. Parkinson's going to run through that check every time.
So here we have a face-off between SI's Lance Sell in red and SHP's Joey Dahlkemper in white. Two outstanding senior face-off men.
Dahlkemper, nice adjustment.
Dahlkemper lost the first two. He's won the last two. As the Gators clear it up the right sideline. Leading 2-1 with just under 2.5 to play in the opening half.
They just went offsides.
Timeout, Sacred Heart.
Nope, Coach Rotelli takes a timeout, his first of the game. You want to take one with him or you want to stay?
Let's take one with him.
Let's take one with him. 2-1, SHP leads SI here in Atherton. Welcome back, live here on the campus of Sacred Heart Prep in Atherton, California. Michael Sachs alongside Greg Weigel here with you. We've got a matchup of the two best teams in Northern California, maybe two of the best teams on the entire western half of the United States in boys high school lacrosse. Greg, it's a 2-1 game. The home Gators in white lead the visiting Wildcats in red jerseys. As Tommy Barnes, the senior captain, heading to Princeton next year, had the ball. He swings it over to Larry Hart.
Nice CSI drop into his zone.
Yep.
So you've seen this from
3-3
both teams now. You've got Sacred Heart Prep playing a little zone earlier on. Now SI had a lot of success against Sacred Heart Prep zone. Let's see what SHP can do against SI.
Billy Barnes over to his older brother Tommy. Tommy has been quiet thus far. Clearly a focus of the defense.
Yeah, been keying in on him big time. I mean, they are sending an early double, getting the ball out of his stick quickly. Now where he becomes really dangerous, off the pipe.
Will Weisel shot off the pipe. Oh, Tommy Barnes gets it right back. Over to Hart. A high to low shot, misses left and low.
Hart's got to shoot that ball overhand. When he drops his stick down like that, he's just losing angle. I don't really like either of these team zones so far today. It feels like both offenses are able to get great inside looks against both zones.
Here's Max Sloat, number 26, the freshman, defended by Henry Niehaus. Up top to Billy Barnes. A minute to play here, Greg, in the first half.
If Barnes can draw...
and Tommy Barnes' shot goes off the pole.
Smart play by St. Jem. He's closer to the ball, even though he was on the offensive half of the field. Very clever.
So the Wildcats here are going to have possession before the half. And now the ref just wants them to take it from the midfield. So here's 44, St. Jem. Over to Bly, Wells Bly, two Bly brothers and two Barnes brothers. Here's Stevens.
Wow, and SHP is a man down here. This is the play we were talking about earlier in the game. SI did it twice. They didn't get burned on it, but you can't get fooled in the substitution game. SHP got caught in a 6-on-5. They were in that 6-on-5 for 10 seconds, and you end up with an easy one on the crease. That's a big-time miscommunication by the Gators.
So Wells Bly evens the score at 2-2 with a point-blank shot on the doorstep that beats Cody Weeb. There's now 35 seconds to go in the half, and we've got another face-off. And this is a big one to see who's going to have probably last possession of the half. Maybe see who can go into the locker room up. Lance Sell and Joey Dahlkemper, eye to eye all afternoon.
Great check by Cav Williams on Parkinson to keep that on.
It looked like SHP had it, but the ball's still loose.
Dave Williams, keep it moving forward, Cav. You got a ground ball.
Still loose. And the Wildcats come up with it as we have a penalty on Cav Williams, I believe. And Coach Packard's going to take a timeout here with 17 seconds to play. And I think he's going to have man up for the remainder of the half.
I think they're not going to do much with it. I think they'll sit on it. Feel good about going in tied at half.
The referee's conferring as to what the call is.
Yeah, it's going to be a slash on Cav. Slash, maybe if they get lucky, a hold.
Yeah, it is a slash.
Slash on Sacred Heart. St. Ignatius will be man.
So you think that Coach Packard's just going to sit on it here, Greg?
Absolutely. Yeah, 17 seconds left. You got a minute penalty. Go play man up for 43 seconds to start the half and not have to worry about dealing with Dahlkemper. more or less been 50-50, maybe even better than that with Dahlkemper.
So it does carry over to the second half, the penalty.
It absolutely carries over to the second half. And if you have possession of the ball in an uneven situation,
and you don't have to do the face-off,
you get possession to start the next period.
Makes a lot of sense.
And so, yeah, you hold on to the ball here. And if you think, there's been, 6 face-offs? If you get a free possession, you think about what that does to your average.
And it's a 2-2 game. Very low scoring, very, very tight. SHP opened with a 2-goal lead. SI now has scored the last 2 goals of the game to even it at 2 apiece. Low scoring, very competitive game as we expected here. So the Wildcats are going to have the ball here. Again, 17 seconds to play in the half.
I got to be honest, this is not exactly what I expected, Coach. I expected to see a few more goals than this. There is so much talent on the field offensively that to have only scored 4 combined goals in a half is surprising.
Mark Stevens with the ball in his stick. 9:08 to play. And you're right, they're just going to take the ball into the locker room and be content with the last 2 goals of the game and a 2-2 tie. So there's the halftime whistle. Both teams are going to be both happy and a little bit upset with their play in the first half. It'll be really interesting to see what Coach Rotelli and Coach Packard make adjustment-wise here in the locker room. 2-2 is your score between St. Ignatius and Sacred Heart Prep on the campus of Sacred Heart Prep in Atherton, California. We're going to be right back after this. And now we're back live on the campus of Sacred Heart Prep in Atherton, California. We're here at halftime. Second half about to start. We've got a 2-2 game here, guys. Michael Sachs alongside Greg Weigel, who started at the University of Denver. Now we're joined by Jack Huber, a youth coach here with Advanced Lacrosse, a former player at the University of Albany, the Danes, in Central New York. Jack, welcome to the broadcast. Expecting a great second half here. 2-2 tie ball game. Sacred Heart got off to a 2-0 lead. The Wildcats of SI came back and tied it at 2. What do you guys expect to see here as the third quarter gets ready to start?
I expect to see a few more goals. I think what we saw in the first half was a little bit of an aberration in terms of how few goals were scored. I think it's pretty consistent with how good both of these defenses are, but I think the quality of the offense will break through a little bit more. We saw a couple pipes. We saw a couple great saves. I think we'll see some more great saves, but I think those pipes start getting dialed in on, and we start seeing those turn into goals. How about you, Jack?
I think you got a rematch game here. and it's two very competitive teams. They just got finished with their East Coast circuits, and they both have something to prove right now. I think you got a little.
You're seeing a shut here again. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, what's going on here?
So we saw this in the first half. SI shut Tommy Barnes. Here, SHP is starting out shutting Topher Bly, and now it looks they're coming out of it and just playing back into a regular man down.
Yeah, SHP's man down here for the next, 20 seconds? As the Wildcats cycle it around.
Should be a 43-second penalty or so.
This would be a big stop for the Gators here to start the half.
Had some contact there right in front of the net.
I tell you, I like the way
it's going to be Gator ball, so that's going to kill off the penalty.
William Peterson's the right kind of bad to be a defenseman. You know what I mean? Finishes that check just a beat longer than you'd want to see if you're on the other team, but you love it if you're his coach. He's got good grit.
He's the guy you hate to go up against in practice every day.
That's right.
But you love seeing him on the other side of the half on game day.
So here's SHP, the home Gators and their home whites, initiating their half-court offense here to start the second half. Full strength here, 2-2 game between the two top teams in Northern California.
Now, Larry Hart had quite the performance in last year's game against these guys.
As Billy Barnes opens up the scoring in the second half, his second goal of the game, and SHP now leads it 3-2.
Let's see this one on instant replay. I think Barnes just gets underneath of his defender. Is that Cilentano? He's able to get back into the inside. Beautiful shot right into the low corner.
Simple split dodge down the alley, a la Chris Rotelli, his coach.
Barnes, his older brother Tommy gets a lot of attention, and it's well-deserved. I'd like to go on record right now saying I think Billy could be better.
Well, you're on record now.
I am on record. And
it's official.
When Billy's aggressive like this, he's got the speed and the physicality and the shooting strength in his wrists to be basically unstoppable.
As we have a fight for possession here off the face-off, SI scoops it. Here they come at the net. A shot and a score. SI ties it off the stick of Wells Bly, and it's now 3-3.
I think that was Colin Niehaus, number 9, who scored that one.
It was Niehaus.
Midfield.
My fault. Niehaus, Colin Niehaus, ties the game at 3. We're going to take another look here.
We're having some technical difficulties here.
But you see these first half jitters wearing off. These guys loosened up. Enough of the turf monster eating up the ankles of the SI guys. I think they're ready to play some real lacrosse in this half.
Here's Dahlkemper and Sell back at the face-off X. It's been pretty even.
It has.
And here's Dahlkemper, wins it clear.
That's not Sell at the face-off X.
You're right.
Smart play.
Was that 17?
That is
Tyler King.
That is
not
Tyler
a smart
King.
pass.
And a turnover, Jack. Here comes the Wildcats.
Joey's just got to be a little more confident, a little calmer. He doesn't need to throw that away.
He made the smart play by not pushing the issue on the fast break, but then didn't give himself time to make a good pass.
Stevens swings it. Now behind the cage with Bly. Alex Bean defending. 11, the long pole in white. Back up top here to Mark Stevens. 3-3 game, guys, under 10 to play in the third quarter.
Stevens still kind of bringing a pick to Stevens now. He checks away from it. Here comes a shot, I'd expect.
That's Topher Bly.
Parkinson
flips it to Parkinson.
Hey, that's a pretty dangerous flip. That would have been hard for Weeb to read out of the net.
If you got that shot off right away?
Yep.
Who do you guys think's got to step up for SI in this half?
I think it's got to be Stevens.
There's a shot and a save by Weeb.
I think if you're going to be covered by a short stick in that scenario, you've got to be the guy who can make the play. Beautiful
Smart
play by Barnes.
Haggerty.
One more. Finish. No!
And we have a flag on the field as well, as Haggerty just missed.
What a clever play by
Max
Tommy
Sloat.
Barnes to win that ground ball up at the midline.
Let's see what the call here is on the penalty. Big penalty here.
Illegal body check on Carter McCullough. Sacred Heart.
So we have an illegal body check against SI's Carter McCullough. Carter McCullough. Thank you, Greg. And the Gators are going to have a man-up advantage here for what, a minute?
Yeah.
Greg, quick point here for the young players watching at home. What Tommy Barnes just did, correct me if I'm wrong, coach's dream.
Oh my God, yes.
9 out of 10 players are slashing their defender's hands. He lifts the backhand, ball goes right by. That should have been a goal right there.
And you just see the anticipation too. So as he's lifting, he's also shielding him with his body, setting up a turn, and now he's running through a ground ball going towards his net.
SI's back in the zone, guys. As
man
Barnes
down.
shoots. And a nice save by Hemmon. He's been awesome this afternoon.
Hemmon's been great. They haven't challenged him much low from outside, right? Hart, you got the 2 Barnes goals.
Here's Duke Reeder. And he scores on the break and gives SI a 4-3 lead. Duke Reeder, the long pole, puts SI ahead.
We talked about Duke in the first half. Duke is incredibly capable of scoring. Both he and Cav Williams play for Coach Huber on the Advanced 2021 team. And what a luxury to have guys like that.
I got to tell you, in the summer, Duke Reeder's pulling that up from the 35-yard line and ripping it. I got to remind him of this game. That was a nice, smart play, though. Has Duke Reeder stopped growing yet? Sophomore, I think he's pushing 6'5" now.
I don't know. I mean, his father is pretty darn tall. His father was a collegiate volleyball player at UC Santa Barbara, I believe.
Yeah.
And you see the height and the athleticism with Reeder for sure.
So here we have a battle for possession. We've got a procedure call against SI. It's going to be Gator ball.
Procedure on St. Ignatius, Sacred Heart ball.
So Cav Williams with the ball over to Billy Barnes, who's on the move.
Well, that, we didn't pick up on this earlier, at least I didn't, but that was a man-down goal.
Yeah,
Duke pushed it out of transition. They're still down a man. They're still down a man right now.
Good point.
And
they're also down a goal.
Tommy Barnes now shut off.
So here's Billy Barnes to Larry Hart, who has a shot, and he scores!
I'm telling you.
4-4, the equalizer for the Gators.
You got to go low on Hemmon. They've shot too low. They've both gone in the net. Stop shooting the ball high.
That's Larry Hart's second goal of the game to go along with 2 for Billy Barnes. So Billy Barnes and Larry Hart have done all the scoring for the Gators.
Well, I think it's going to have to be that way. They're not going. They being SI are not going to let Tommy Barnes beat them. And if Tommy Barnes isn't going to beat you, somebody else better. And if he's going to get quick doubles, throw the ball to the backside, slip it out, whatever it takes, and that guy's got to be ready to capitalize.
So who's facing off here for SI, guys? Is it Sell or is it Tyler King? I can't tell.
Let's Sell.
Sell's back, and Joey Dahlkamper beats him. So they cycle it back to the goalie, Cody Weed, the senior, 4-year starter for the Gators, one of the best goalies in program history here, playing his last home game today.
If there's a better goalie, I'm not sure. Austin Appleton was pretty great. I still have nightmares about losing a PAL championship to Austin Appleton when he had 16 saves against me. But
and now we have a whistle.
Cody's the man.
Timeout, Sacred Heart.
Greg, you get to sleep with a daughter at home?
We have several cars parked illegally.
If I could plug our sleep consultant at this point in time, shout out to Vivian because, I'm sleeping well. We get 12 hours a night, Jack.
Vivian's getting it done?
Vivian is the best. If anybody is having trouble with their daughter sleeping at night, give me a call. I'll say about Vivian.
All right, well, there you have it. Give Greg Weigel a call. He'll set you up with Vivian. Meanwhile, we've got a 4-4 game here between the 2 best teams in the area. We also have an absolutely packed house here, guys. The stands have really filled in. By far the biggest crowd I've ever seen here. You've got students standing down along the track. You've got parents from both teams here filling the stands with gear of both teams to see this matchup, this regular season finale. These 2 teams haven't played since the championship game last year, which SHP got the best of SI. A week earlier last year, in this game, the regular season game between these 2, SI won. So they may see each other again next week in the playoffs, but for now, regular season championship and the number 1 seed in the playoffs is on the line.
I would be surprised if these guys did not play again in the championship. These, as I stated at the beginning of the game, I think these are the 2 best teams in California, without question, but undoubtedly the 2 best teams in Northern California.
Yeah, this feels like a playoff game. I mean, you walk in and it's just buzzing. There's an electricity in the air. You kind of get goosebumps. Kind of brings you back. This feels like playoffs. There's a lot on the line here.
And it's a 4-4 game here with 7:36 to play in the third. It's Gator ball as we get back underway here at SHP in Atherton, California. Gorgeous Wednesday afternoon. Billy Barnes behind net to Sloat. Back up top to Tommy Barnes, who's been quiet thus far. To Hart. Over to Billy Barnes.
Ooh, I like this opportunity for Barnes.
As he's stoned there by Hemmon, had a great dodge on net, guys.
I tell you, Coach Rotelli does a really nice job of putting his guys in sets where he takes the slide away from them. And you see it a lot. They'll get some action, and it's all basically a setup, right? All that motion ahead of the dodge was a setup to get Billy that clear out. And then once he's got the space, there's nobody to slide to.
Yeah, they love that wing dodge, too.
Here's Billy Barnes again, left-handed. Switches it to his right and cycles back up top to Hart. Here's Will Weisel. Slips.
No flag on the play.
The Gator fans wanted one, but it didn't come. And now we have a turnover, a sloppy turnover. Gives it back to SI.
That's a tough sequence.
Here come the Wildcats.
I thought Weisel was pretty clearly pushed from behind off the dodge.
Celentano Jr. Over to Robertson. Guarded by Barton. Over to Parkinson. Substitutions now for both schools.
But I tell you, if I had a kid like Sam Parkinson on my team, I'm not sure I'd do anything else other than start every single possession with him dodging after that speed we saw in the first half.
Blazing speed.
And he's got a cannon to match. I mean, that kid's shooting the ball 100 miles an hour on the run.
And the Gators defense comes up with it, but hits back on the ground.
Big ground ball here.
23 in red. Jackson Kane came up with it. Ooh. As it gets away from Stevens.
Or is that off-white?
They're going to consult and figure it out.
Yeah.
So you got a replay on that one?
And it's white ball. Gator ball. So a turnover there by the Wildcats. So here come the Gators. 4-4 your score. Just under 6 to play in the third. With each passing possession here, guys, things get more and more tight. And another whistle. And we have a legal offsides on the Gators. It's going to give it back to SI in red. And here they come, wasting no time. Robertson.
Sonsini must have just gone over the line. I missed it.
Niehaus. Stevens. Substitutions for each school again. Coach Packard and Coach Rotelli playing chess. Robertson, number 5 in red. Behind Cage.
Is that 29, Joey Hagan?
I can't tell the number. I think it is. As he shoots and he scores, it is 29. Joey Hagan gives SI the lead, 5-4.
Good placement on the shot. Who's Joey Hagan?
Joey Hagan, junior attackman from SI.
Okay. I feel like you know everyone on the starting 6 for SI. I haven't heard of him before. That was a nice clean move from behind.
That's not the starting 6, Jack. That's the second string attack that's out there right now.
Wow.
They go St. Jem, Wells Bly, and Mills Berry was the starting 3 today, and now this is the second unit.
And it looks like they've got their third
of Jackson Kane, second unit with Jackson Kane on it. That says something about it because Kane is spectacular in my opinion. He is one of the smoother operators in the area.
Coach Packard has now put his third faceoff guy in Garrett Hawthorne, number 18, going against Joey Dahlkemper as we have a scramble. Dahlkemper comes up with it.
So what do you think Coach Packard's trying to do here, giving these guys runs? Sending a message to the starters or just mixing things up, a little bit of both?
A little bit of all the above.
Here's Mark Stevens and, Robertson, Jack Robertson, number 5. SI leads 5-4 with 4:40 to play here.
But, it may also just be a matter of SI's got a little more depth than Sacred Heart Prep. And if they can use that depth to their advantage in a 5-4 game, right? They're up 1, and their starters are sitting on the bench getting rest right now, getting fresh for the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
and I don't think it necessarily has to go anything beyond that.
It's not cold out there either. You know, this sun's got to take a toll on you, especially on that turf. Coming up on 4 to play in the third. Wildcats lead the Gators 5-4. Wildcats have the ball. They throw it back out top to Holden Arnett Zhang. First time we've said his name today.
Well, Weisel has been incredible as a short stick D-Midi.
So we have a shot. It was low and wide. And SHP wins the race for possession. So it's going to be Gator ball now. Under 4 to play. Here comes Will Weisel with a nice move there. And he clears it across midfield.
I know he's not going to, or has not shown up on the score sheet yet in terms of a goal or an assist, but I think Weisel's playing great right now.
And looks like he's going to come off now. As Larry Hart has it, guarded closely by the long pole, number 12, Devin Enos. Here's Joe Sonsini, senior. On senior day.
Looks like we're going to get a double invert here from Sacred Heart Prep.
Sonsini swings it to Billy Barnes.
I like this.
Here comes a pick.
Billy Barnes and Joe Sonsini, who's a converted attackman playing behind.
You got to like this matchup right here.
Billy Barnes. To Haggerty.
One more.
Back to Barnes. Up top to Hart. Under 3 to play now. Gators trail by a goal.
Got Max Slode here with the ball.
Keep it over. Oh, smart play by Bean. Or Barton, rather.
Oh, that's going to go against the Gators. Wildcat ball.
Let them have a quick restart on the move.
Here comes SI. Duke Reeder
again
slings it wide. The red jersey was closest to the end line there, so it'll remain SI ball. 2:22 to play. Wildcats lead the Gators 5-4.
That last set was a little bit of a head scratcher. You had a couple awesome matchups on that wing, both with Billy and Sonsini. They both had a shorty hung up from behind or goal line extended and forced a pass over the top like that.
Here you go. Now you got your starting 6 back out for SI.
Parkinson.
It just felt a little, feels like SHP is not used to Tommy Barnes being this limited and doesn't necessarily know how to respond yet.
He's been very limited. I think he's had 2 shots, one real good one.
Yeah, but I think SI's done a really nice job on him. They have come really quickly with the double team, and they've played him physically on the corner, which I think is important to try to slow him down and make him turn his back to the play as well.
I mean, I've seen a formula work for them with that top dodge down the alley, simple. I don't know why they don't go back to that a couple times.
Here's SI. A shot wide, backed up by SI. A minute 21 left in the third.
Nice take.
Yeah, I tell you, Topher Bly's very good at getting a shot off under duress. Right? He's incredible at getting his hands free and getting a shot off quickly. You've seen it a couple times now. He just hasn't put it on frame, but those are all dangerous looks. Nice
there
play
you saw
by John
Wells
Carter.
Carter gets it out of Bly's stick. And here come the Gators.
That is a smart lacrosse play.
So here's Tommy Barnes, the senior who's been held down the entire game, playing his last regular season home game.
And they've done it with a couple different defenders, too. Duke Reeder's been on him some. McCullough's played him some. Those have been the 2 primary guys. I think those are the guys who I would say are big enough to really handle a guy Tommy's stature.
Here's Will Weisel.
So, Greg, you went on the record already today. I'm going on the record. John Carter will be president someday.
That's a strong statement.
The Gators turn it over, guys. Nice play there by the SI defense. And here they come, fast down the middle of the field.
What makes you think Carter will be president? His prowess knocking down passes in the air?
That's certainly one of them. He's got incredible hair in his lineage, and he's a natural leader.
We also saw great
what
defensive
is going on with the
leadership
clock right now? The clock has continued to run. This thing went out of bounds with 16 or 17 seconds left.
Yeah, and Coach Rotelli is not thrilled.
We're showing 16 on the on the video here.
So it looks like there's just a second and a half remaining in the third quarter.
I think they're working the kinks out here.
So now they've put a minute 50 back on the
Like
clock.
I said, they're working the kinks out. They were 1-0 too many. Now they're 2 zeros too many.
What should it be?
It should be 15 seconds is what I think they're going for.
Okay.
Guys, we're in Silicon Valley. These technology issues happen all the time. Self-driving cars, we're ready for them.
They're already out there. All these new Teslas self-driving.
Yeah, all the self-driving Teslas just self-drove themselves out of here on the back of a tow truck, the ones that were illegally parked at Sacred Heart
We
Prep.
did. We had some illegally parked cars that we had to sort through.
If it was my car, I'm blaming it on the self-driving.
I hope it's not my car. I think I parked safely. Here we go. 6 seconds to play.
I thought Sloat had a chance on that one.
As the goalies sort of exchange pleasantries there.
And Weeb is going to end up getting a penalty on that.
You throwing a stick in the
throw
air?
your stick like that in the air.
And Coach Rotelli is on the refs here. He's out a quarter of the way on the field. Some crazy stuff to end the quarter. We need to catch our breath. Let's take a break. SI leads SHP 5-4 as we head to the fourth quarter.
Sacred Heart will start man down due to the
Welcome back to Sacred Heart Prep
at the end of the period.
Atherton, California. Michael Sachs alongside Greg Weigel and Jack Huber. Guys, fourth quarter starting. SI leads 5-4, and they have the ball. And we have a new goalie in for Sacred Heart Prep because their starting four-year starter senior, Cody Weeb, got a penalty right before the end of the third quarter.
Colin Choi. I coached Colin 2 years ago when he was on the JV team. The kind of guy that would do anything for you, but for those listening, he is not a goalie by nature. He just happens to have a knack for picking up any stick you put in his hands.
Well, he just got his first shot against and defended it well. It was wide.
Oh, wow.
And now we have a bit of argument for possession, but it's going to be SI ball. About 35 seconds left in the penalty for the Gators. Here come the Wildcats.
It's only a 30-second penalty, so now we're all even again.
But Choi still in net, and that one sails high from the stick of Mark Stevens.
All even.
Talk about some shooters to face. Cold off the bench.
Big spot here for Choi.
Got a half dozen shots.
It's his senior day, too, by the way.
That's right.
And there's a shot by Parkinson sails wide. So Choi's getting peppered, but he's holding his own.
He's staying big in there. He's not flinching. He's not ducking. These are some heavy shots coming.
Yeah, they're slinging it.
Listen, I don't know about you guys. There is no way I would be Choi right now. There's no way I'd be Weeb or Hemmen. I just wouldn't play goalie.
Greg, I'm happy where I'm sitting right now.
Yeah, luckily for you, Greg, your eligibility has expired.
Well, even if I were eligible, there is no way I'd play goalie. Nice play by Barton.
Stevens, a shot high.
Wow.
Choi was there to save it.
A play by Barton.
Number 18 in white. The sophomore been hurt for much of the year. And there's a missed opportunity for the Wildcats. Jackson Kane was on the doorstep but missed it. Wildcats still have it. Here's a shot and a score! SI leads it 6-4 off the stick of Mark Stevens.
Cody Weeb wouldn't have even had a chance with that shot right there.
That's a great shot. Look, he's 10 yards away.
Time and room. No pressure on his hands. You got to give it to Choi for standing tall in that for that. And that was 4 hard shots in a row.
Yeah, I think he took 4 shots. He let the last one in. So the senior, Cody Weeb, gets back in cage, but his team now trails by 2. As I believe we're in have Garrett Hawthorne taking the face-off for SI. And Joey Dahlkemper for the home Gators, who now trail by 2.
Yeah, for those of you watching at home, we've gotten that wrong most of the day. Number 18.
Apologies.
Garrett Hawthorne
had a mistake on the roster.
We've been calling him Lance Sell. It has been Hawthorne who's taken the lion's share of the face-offs today.
So apologies to everybody out there. I think we've got it right now.
Hawthorne's a talented sophomore. He plays with a lot of these guys.
Oh, they were off for a second. Did they get it? They got it.
They did get it, much to the delight of the SHP crowd. So SI turns it over. Will Weisel has the ball now for the Gators as they get into their half-court set down to 10 minutes to play in the game. This for the regular season championship in Northern California.
Now look at the box. You got an advantage. Here's this 6-on-5 play again. Both of these teams are so worried about getting their defensive middies on that they're giving people advantage in the substitution game.
Here's Tommy Barnes. A shot and a score. And that's his 200th career goal as he brings SHP within 1. It's now 6-5 SI.
On senior day, Tommy Barnes, big offensive set right there. And that's his bread and butter from that wing.
He's just too strong.
So the Gators have been waiting for that all day long. The senior captain playing his final regular season home game finally gets his 200th career goal.
And you can see SI was finally late to go to it. Larry Hart does a nice job shallow cutting through for Tommy, creates some space for him, and there was nobody to help. That's why you got to go early to Barnes. If you're not early to Barnes, that's going to happen.
Every one of these ground balls is big now as SI comes up with it.
What a play
and a shot. A shot misses.
To the point.
You got me on that one.
Still SI ball. Cody Weeb back in cage for the Gators. 44, Peyton St. Jem has it for SI. Cycles it back to number 4, Sam Parkinson. St. Jem back to Parkinson. Over to Stevens. That's their starting attack.
Starting midfield.
Excuse me, starting midfield. Thank you.
Stevens had the last one.
A lot of traffic there.
Quick switch. Look, they're playing a little high 1-4.
Will Watchhorse there in on D with the long pole. As SI shoots and scores, and it's back to a 2-goal lead for the Wildcats.
That was just a foot race right there.
Parkinson's the wrong guy to get the foot race with.
Yeah.
That
was some speed. Cody got a piece of that too. Bounced right off his left shoulder. That's a tough one to go in on a goalie.
Both of Parkinson's goals today have been that. They've been him being faster than the other guy.
Really, really fast foot speed for Parkinson. His second goal of the day gives SI a 2-goal advantage again. That's the largest lead for either team that we've seen. Just a tick under 9 minutes to play here as we get back to the face-off X.
What a great play by Dahlkemper. So Dahlkemper lost the draw. Hawthorne definitely beat him, and then he raked it out. You see him pull his forward hand as he hooked him. And that caused the turnover. Smart play by Hart, too, anticipating the check by Reeder.
Got it back, yeah. Haggerty to Tommy Barnes, guarded by Duke Reeder. 2 of the best players in the state. Larry Hart to Billy Barnes, the sophomore Barnes brother, who has 2 goals today. Hart also has 2 goals. Here's Will Weisel. Coming up on 8 minutes to play in the game, guys.
I think Weisel's got to look to go to the goal there. I mean, if they're going to be that, they're not going to respect him that much. You know, he's a capable offensive player.
And there's a sloppy pass that Billy Barnes couldn't handle, and SHP turns it over. SI has the ball and a 2-goal lead with 7:53 to play.
That's the third time the Gators have done that today. Full field skip pass. It's just, you don't need to do it.
And it's not really coming off of enough that it's going to generate anything. I mean, the guy catching the skip pass is still going to have to beat a guy.
Yeah.
Wells Bly over to Stevens as SI gets onside.
Got a little under 7:30 here. This would be a big stop for the Gators or a big goal for SI.
Huge moment in the game. And there's a shot and a save by Cody Weed, just as you were saying, Jack. A big save for the senior, who Coach Rotelli says plays his best in the biggest games. And this is certainly a big moment in the biggest game of the season. And here comes Paul Barton, number 18, the sophomore standout defender. Here comes the double by SI, and they jar it loose from Barton's stick. And now SI tries to clear a big turnover there.
And Barton's behind the play now.
He's looking gassed.
He is. He absolutely is. Wells Bly. Topher Bly.
Kudos to SI for doubling the pole down in danger zone for him.
Yeah, that was a really smart play by Enos.
And a sloppy pass by the Wildcats, and they turn it over. It'll be Gator ball.
Barton, I feel like, has also got to see that coming a little sooner, too. If he rolls that out, he could throw back up top.
So here comes Sacred Heart Prep, guys. Down by 2, coming up on 6 minutes to play. Larry Hart, the senior, swings it to Tommy Barnes, the senior. A pick by Weisel. Barnes to Weisel, who looks to shoot, fires, and I think Hemming got his stick on it, but it will remain SHP ball. Didn't get his stick on it?
I think he probably got his stick on it. I think Weisel shot the ball about 2.5 feet too high.
Yeah, and maybe 10 feet too far out.
Right.
That was just inside the 30-yard line right there.
So here comes Billy Barnes for SHP. Behind cage to Haggerty, and he turns it over.
Nice play by Connor Flaherty to pick that off.
Got 41 in red, Connor Flaherty. Big play there. Every play right now at this point in the game is a big play. SI on the move, up 2, under 5:30 to play. Stevens, and now Coach Packard's going to take a timeout. We'll take it with him. SI leads SHP 7-5 with 5:21 to play. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Atherton, California at Sacred Heart Prep. Michael Sachs, Greg Weigel, and Jack Huber with you. Guys, the visiting St. Ignatius Wildcats with a 2-goal lead, 5:21 to play, and the ball.
Is it just me, guys, or are
They
your
just
palms
put in-
sweaty?
Well, what I think is interesting about this is if you look at the lineup that's out there for St. Ignatius.
It's their second teamer.
I mean, it's
across the board.
Yeah, this is maybe their third, maybe their fourth line middies.
And there's a shot and a deflection, and this is a big ground ball, guys. Still fighting for it. And a penalty flag, likely against SHP. SI still has it. Barton on D. Alex Bean now defending. As SI settles in. Number 8 is Holden Arnett Zhang. 45 is Cooper Lopez.
Williams a little too aggressive there. He got away with it.
There's a huge play by Weeb. Do we have interference?
No, we have a slash on John Carter.
Okay, so here's the penalty
Slash on
call.
Sacred Heart. St. Ignatius will be man up.
So SI is going to be a man up for how long?
1 minute.
1 minute. So that'll take us down to about the 3:15 mark. Let's see who Coach Packer brings on here to play offense. Big tense moments here as SI leads at 7-5. We're coming up on 4 to play.
They got their first man-up unit out. This is the regular man-up unit.
So here comes SI with a 2-goal lead. Number 7, Mark Stevens, Topher Bly, and Sam Parkinson. Parkinson. Stevens loses it. Alex Bean scoops it.
What do you think about calling a timeout if you're Coach Rotelli?
And the Gators just turn it back over there.
That's a tough
Paul
one.
Barton turned it over on a high, tough pass.
You know, I have a slightly different opinion on that one, Jack. I trust Alex Bean and Paul Barton to be able to clear that thing. I think both of those guys are capable of handling it. You got a great relief valve out there in Weeb.
Here's Stevens.
I believe he only has 1 timeout left at this point in time. I'm not sure you want to take it, outside of 2 minutes.
We're coming up on the end of the man up here, guys. SI
Got
has
a little bit of a mismatch on the backside. Someone's missing a guy.
We're even now.
Here we go.
Yep, even strength now with 3:10 to play. SI with the ball and a 2-goal advantage. The winner of this wins the regular season title. Loose ball. And it's going to be... We have disagreement between 2 refs and a conferment.
Why doesn't Jackson
SHP ball. SHP ball, guys. SI turns it over, and it's a big one. Under 3 to play.
All right, SHP's got to clear it.
They've had trouble.
It has not been a gimme all day.
Well, they clear it here. Billy Barnes over to Larry Hart, the senior. 2 goals on the afternoon. Behind the net to Sonsini. And another wayward pass.
Nice job by Weisel to keep that thing in play.
Yeah. Here's Billy Barnes. 2:25 to play. Gators down 2 in the ball. Hart behind the cage to Sonsini. Tommy Barnes gets a good look.
That's the play you were talking about earlier, Jack. Simplify things. Get an alley dodge, throw it behind. Let some good things happen off the backside.
Only seen it a couple times this whole game from them.
Looks like they're going to go for it again.
Larry Hart looks to dodge. They run a double.
SI's looking to sneak a little bit.
Here's Tommy Barnes.
Look at all the attention. So early.
And a flash in the air as the ball hits the turf. And here's a stoppage. Who's the penalty on?
It's a slash. It looks like it's on Carter McCullough. I missed it. It must have been off ball after Tommy threw it back to Rex.
It's on the visiting Wildcat, so a much-needed man up here for a minute for the home Gators. 1:45 to play in the game. The Gators, undefeated in the state of California all season at 16-2, trail by 2 goals.
That's right. Yeah, their only 2 losses came back in Maryland against St. Paul's and Gonzaga.
Hey, here's Billy Barnes.
A little confusion on SI to start. Down 2. You got to get a high-quality shot if you're the Gators.
Billy Barnes. Max Sloat.
Oh, and they're going to lose possession here. That's Duke's close. Oh, wow.
They gave it to Sonsini.
That's not a high-quality shot.
No, Sloat's shot was nowhere near.
They didn't have much angle, and he didn't put much on it either.
So Gators need a goal. Down 2, a minute 23 to play. Billy Barnes shoots and scores. We've got a 1-goal game here, guys. SHP trails 7-6.
It's a hell of a shot. Left-handed right off the goalie's hip.
Billy's 3rd goal of the afternoon.
Yeah, Billy's a special player.
Greg, to your point, if he's shooting like that as a sophomore, can you imagine what that's going to look like in 2 years?
Have you ever seen the movie The Princess Bride?
I may have seen it once or twice.
You remember the scene where the guy's sword fighting with his left hand and he goes, I am actually right-handed?
I am not left-handed.
Billy Barnes is actually right-handed.
He's going to appreciate that reference, I think.
All right, guys, big face-off here.
Oh, and jump. Dahlkemper jumped.
Dahlkemper jumps, gives it right back to SI. A big, huge penalty. With a minute 20 to go, SI will have the ball up 7-6.
Interesting. They give the pole to Stevens now, and they're shutting off the other shorties.
Here's Stevens.
Cav Williams almost caught him on a back check. And they're getting ready
Cavs
to send
all over him.
out.
Here comes a double team, and they get it on the ground.
They're going to call him for a hold or a timeout by SI.
Timeout.
Wow.
Timeout by Coach Packard of SI.
Well done by Sacred Heart Prep. That is a team that's clearly practiced that this season.
Did he get the timeout before the ball hit the ground?
Well, before the ball left his stick would be the question. I doubt we have that on replay.
No, we don't. But what did you see there?
I didn't, with these headsets on, I can't hear the timeout call. So
it was very close.
I completely missed it. It's just not something I can really hear.
Smart play on both sides.
Yeah.
Kudos to the Gators for pulling off the double, but you got to give it to Packard for getting that timeout in time.
So what does Coach Rotelli do here defensively to try to get the ball on the ground?
You do exactly what he just did before. You get the ball to X and send a double team and lock the other guy off with your goalie.
Is this pull the goalie time for SHP?
Yeah, and you saw them do that already. That's where that double team came from. Barton, Cody Weeb came out, covered Barton's guy. Barton followed the play. Williams started turning him back, was able to get the check ahead of the double team. But that's what you're looking to do here.
Well, it looks like Weeb's going to net.
Well, the thing is, with that much angle, he's 6 or 7 yards up. If you're a smart player, you start that ball maybe at 10 yards. And if Weeb's out of the net, you've got enough angle to score. You just run a guy behind the goal to get the backup. So that's the thing with this ball position. Sacred Heart Prep's got to be smart about when they initiate the double team. And it looks like they're going to do it right off the bat.
Starting with Topher Bly, ball on the stick.
Yeah,
if you're SI, just take a shot and run Wells back towards the end line.
So Cody is out of the goal.
Do.
Minute to play.
He flips it back to Wells.
Here's the double. He slips it, and he scores. A goal by Wells Bly gives SI a 2-goal lead again with 53 seconds to play. It's SI 8, SHP 6.
We've seen crazier things happen.
Certainly. And now we get a face-off.
One thing I think that I saw on that play is what we talked about earlier, is the depth of SI. Right? Topher Bly hasn't been in as much as Cav Williams or Paul Barton in the second half of this game. I think he's a little bit fresher.
Here comes Dahlkemper.
Tommy Barnes
gets him back within one with 45 seconds to play. It's 8-7, SI over SHP. A huge goal off of a big face-off win by Joey Dahlkemper.
I don't mean to belabor the point here, but another outside shot that went low and scored. If you think about the 9 or 10 shots in the first half that went high, either missed the goal, hit the pipe, or the goalie made a save on, if all of those were low and they only score on 30% of them, they've got a 2-goal lead.
Huge face-off here, guys. Hawthorne and Dahlkemper. Here we go.
Dahlkemper is going to win that one.
Cav Williams scoops it for the Gators.
He's got a timeout, and he's going to use it.
He uses it right here.
So that's what I was saying earlier in this quarter, Jack, with the 3.5 minutes or so to go, and you were saying, should they take the timeout here? I think you want to save your timeout. Try not, I always like to have at least one timeout left in the last 2 minutes of the game in a close game.
Yeah.
And that's why right there.
Yeah. So what do you think he draws up here, guys?
It should be something for Tommy Barnes. At least that's what I would expect, right? I mean, he danced with the date that brung you.
Do you start with the ball in Tommy's stick, or do you start with the ball in Billy's stick?
I don't think you start with the ball in Tommy's stick.
Maybe Larry Hart's stick.
It's going to be a pull, and they're going to send a quick double team. The other issue with that, though, is I think they're going to be reluctant to let Tommy get the ball if he doesn't start with it. And so if he doesn't start with it, does he ever touch it would be the question I would have. And what about you, Jack? What would you do?
I'm thinking who's going to draw the slide in a one-to-one matchup. I think Billy Barnes has been having a good time dodging all day. He's the kind of guy that he can put the ball in the net on his own. And if they don't slide to him, he's going to make him pay for it. If they do, he's got a pretty good knack for finding his brother on the backside.
So where do you set up Tommy? Do you put Tommy on the crease to try to make it a tough decision for SI? Do you slide off Tommy? Or do you run him off the backside off some sort of screen to try to get him free for a shot?
Yeah, I like him off the backside. I like Billy dodging left to right down that right alley. And then all eyes are on the right side of the field. You got Tommy on the backside sneaking off of the screen.
Well, here we go. We're about to find out.
We'll see what they do.
It's going to be
39.5 seconds. SHP with the ball, down a goal.
It looks like Billy Barnes is going to end up getting the pole. And so my guess is it's going to be Weisel or Hart who initiates.
It's Billy Barnes with the ball, and he clears it.
Right, and then you see Edelman bump out to him, and there it is.
30 seconds here.
Over to Larry Hart. Under 30 to play. SHP down a goal and the ball. 20 seconds.
All right,
Tommy Barnes.
Right, Tommy.
Great lift by Rader.
He loses it and gets it back. Swings it to his brother Billy. He shoots, and it's wide. Tommy backs it up, 10 to play. And a pass is going to get out of bounds, and it's going to be SI ball with 5 seconds to play. SI has it. And they throw it up in the air.
Smart play by Edelman. That's going to end the game.
That's going to do it. There's your buzzer. SI gets the job done. They win the regular season title and have the #1 seed in the playoffs next week. Your final, St. Ignatius 8, Sacred Heart Prep 7. An amazing game here, guys, today between the two top teams in Northern California.
What a game. Can you say rematch?
Yeah, what's exciting to me is if this wasn't the exact score of last year's regular season game, it was 7-6. It was a one-goal game. SI won in overtime, and then Sacred Heart Prep came down into the finals and won 12-5. So the question to me is, what happens next? SI, to me, didn't play their starters as much as they potentially could have or would have in a championship game. We saw Hawthorne instead of Sell. We saw a number of different attack units. So SHP's got a lot to chew on, a lot to think about. I think that may have been part of the SI plan to begin with, anticipating a rematch in the finals.
Well, they'll both play on Monday in the quarters, and then potentially again on Wednesday, and then the championship, if seeds hold, would be in San Francisco at SI on Friday, next Friday. So a lot to look forward to. We'll be with you for the semifinals next Wednesday. We thank you for joining us here this afternoon in Atherton, California on the campus of Sacred Heart Prep. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us.